is a wonderful herb. Due to its very high mineral content, this plant works wonders. But I kind of want to narrow it in and focus on its love of the kidneys. Apostle Paul said he was given a thorn in the flesh to keep him from becoming proud. The thorn being either an actual person or some physical, mental, or emotional affliction. King David once mentioned how he was grieved and pricked in the kidneys. The kidneys are the seat of emotions. Their job is to bring balance to the body. As our peacemakers, they filter the blood, which is the seat of the soul and is our life force. They regulate blood pressure and remove waste. If you didn't know, emotional trauma causes damage to certain organs like the heart. But the damage has an even farther reach than just that. It crushes the spirit and it even causes kidney damage due to the kidney's proneness to problems with blood circulation. Again, the blood is the seat of the soul. It's like emotional trauma causes the soul to be stagnant, manifesting as poor blood circulation. But whatever is actually happening due to emotional trauma is very serious. In fact, evidence suggests individuals with a history of adverse childhood experience have higher odds of developing kidney disease versus individuals with no adverse childhood experiences. So whoever tells you that sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you, must not be aware of the truth about just how damaging psychological abuse actually is. And I'm not even done speaking of the impact of emotional trauma. In Chinese medicine, fear is an emotion that pertains to the kidneys, and insufficient blood, so to speak, leads to fear. When one is filled with too much fear, the result is the subjugation of the kidneys. And one Hebrew word for fear is yara. The literal concrete meaning of yara is a flowing of the gut, which can be applied to fear or reverence. It seems this type of fear is either the result of being scared or being in awe, and it reminds me of when one experiences butterflies in their stomach. Usually, when we feel butterflies in our stomach with someone we like, we think it's a good thing. And maybe there are instances where it is, but sometimes those butterflies are a bad sign. These butterflies or flowing in the gut could mean you genuinely like this person and are in awe of their beauty, or it could be your body trying to tell you something. That their traits are reminiscent of someone else who has caused you trauma in the past, and your body is picking up on that and sending you a warning through fear. Some other manifestations of fear and stress are PTSD and PMDD. PMDD, or premenstrual dysphoric disorder, is a more severe effect of the menstrual cycle on some women. Some studies show a link between PTSD and PMDD. Now, PMDD not to be confused with PMS. PMDD is debilitating for its sufferers, causing severe symptoms such as anger, extreme sadness, and even a desire to quit their job or relationship. Some women who suffer with PMDD find that symptoms worsen when they are in a relationship with someone who is reminiscent of another person who has caused them trauma in the past. And as a sufferer myself, I can confirm. Some women actually find relief from their PMDD symptoms by taking an antihistamine. Evidence suggests that early life trauma results in persistent alterations to activity of inflammatory markers. Histamine is an inflammatory mediator. High levels of histamine in the body can increase ovarian estrogen production, and in turn, high levels of estrogen can increase histamine production. So while psychological trauma could be a catalyst that creates high levels of histamine in the body, it is a catalyst that causes a cycle that is tough to break through. After all, the mental health issues that arise from such trauma can lead to one making poor dietary choices, for instance, since food tends to serve as a comfort for people. And this choice can negatively affect one's overall health, like their gut health, putting the person in a cycle. But allergic reactions are not just to substances, and I mean allergic reactions in general for anyone. Allergic reactions can also be the body's way of resisting energies. Psychological trauma leaves an imprint that can actually be beneficial to us if we recognize it in this way. It can help us to avoid people who only want to do us harm. But the key is listening to our bodies. And of course, though, psychological trauma is also very harmful. Emotional trauma depletes the body of minerals like magnesium, zinc, and calcium. But there is an herb that is rich in all of these, and it also has an affinity for the kidneys. And that herb is nettle, aka stinging nettle. Nettle helps the kidneys and adrenals. It's an herb that is high in minerals and one of the best sources of herbs you can turn to for high mineral content. For anyone who needs more nutrition in their diet, adding nettle would prove beneficial. And just like a lot of herbs, it's easy to incorporate. A tea, a vinegar, you got it. And you can also eat the seeds. Nettle seeds have a higher mineral content than the leaves. And the nettle seeds are incorporated in the care of those with serious kidney disease, whereas the leaves may not be helpful for serious kidney disease. They are still a friend to the kidneys regardless. Nettle is anti-inflammatory and a natural antihistamine. Two things I spoke of earlier, inflammation and histamine, and how these two things are increased in some victims of psychological abuse. Stinging nettle, as the name implies, does just that. It stings when you touch the plant, giving a clue to the effect it will have on the body. Stinging nettle is helpful for many ailments like arthritis, kidney afflictions, and PMDD. Antihistamines do give some women relief from PMDD, but man-made anything will have some drawbacks. A natural remedy would be nettle, but freeze-dried nettle capsules are an alternative as freeze-drying the leaves preserves their histamine. And in closing, the adversary knows something most of us don't know about psychological trauma. He knows its effect on our bodies. The heart, the kidneys, just two organs that are actually vital in our relationship with Yah, God. Two organs in particular that require submission to Him. Yet the adversary deceitfully can gain our submission to Him through trauma by subjugating our hearts, our minds, and kidneys to a cycle of fear.